Most modern technology has energy supplied to it by electric currents. So things like light bulbs, electric heaters, and loudspeakers are all things which we transfer energy to by an electric current. Then the components in these will transfer the energy from these currents to another form. The bulb will transfer it to light waves. The heater will store it as thermal energy in its wires and the surrounding air. And the loudspeaker will transfer it as sound waves. You'll need to be familiar with these devices for your exam, as well as be able to recognise the transfers happening in other electrical components. But how exactly do we generate an electric current? Well, electrical power supplies convert other forms of energy to an electric current. For example, a battery has a store of chemical energy which can then be used to generate an electric current. The current is used to take the energy from the battery elsewhere. We can also generate currents with motion by using magnets. So things like hamster wheels, bike wheels, or shaking a special kind of battery can use a kinetic energy store to generate a current and transfer this energy. The same principle applies to generators, which first transfer the energy in fossil fuels or other resources to kinetic energy, which can then generate a current. Now, you don't need to understand how each of these methods works, but you'll need to be able to recall them as power supplies which can generate electric currents in your exam. So how do these supplies give energy to a current? Well, the power supply does work on charge carriers to give them energy. Now remember that these charge carriers will normally be the delocalized electrons we find in transition metals. The battery will do work on these to make them start moving around the circuit, with their motion being the electric current. In other words, there's a current as the charge carriers have been given kinetic energy by the battery. Now, normally we associate work with a force, which is technically still happening here, but you don't need to know the details about this force or the kinetic energy in circuits at GCSE. You just need to know that when we say a power supply is doing work, it's giving energy to the charge carriers. Then, the charge carriers travel around a circuit and transfer this energy to components in the circuit. So remember that circuits need to be a closed loop so that the charge carriers have a way to travel from one end of the battery, around the circuit, and then back to the other end. During this cycle, the battery will do work on the charge to give it energy. Then the charge carriers give this energy to various components to transfer it to other forms, like light and heat. When these transfers happen, we say there is work being done by the charge. So remember, work on a charge means energy is given to charge carriers, and work by a charge is charge carriers giving this energy away.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy to follow videos and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Physics course. See you there!